Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Transformers fans everywhere, welcome back. LPS, Last Prime Speculator, here to bring you another episode of the Redemption series as always. Today's focus on the Redemption series will be the Dinobots. Who are the Legendary Warriors? Who are the Dinobots? And what is their purpose? What is their story? Where do they come from? All that good stuff. If you're not familiar with the Redemption series focuses on plots, events, characters, artifacts that were never explained in the live action universe. I've created this series of topics that seek redemption and seek answers. If you're new to this channel, make sure to consider subscribing and turn on all notifications to stay updated with all my videos. With all that away, guys, let's get right into the Dinobots. The Dinobots are a group of Autobots who turn into dinosaurs, or at least things which mostly look like dinosaurs. While they bear the Autobot insignia, calling them a bunch of loose cannons would be an understatement, answering mostly to their animalistic rage. It would take a serious display of superior might and leadership for these guys to follow into battle. The Dinobots are a rowdy, arrogant, stubborn, disobedient band of warriors that some Autobots would rather scrap than deal with. They're also one of the most devastating, powerful, and close-knit combat units that the Autobot army has, being incredibly powerful in robot mode and taking their alternate modes based on dinosaurs, the most powerful creatures to ever roam Earth. Only a handful of individuals are viewed by the Dinobots as true allies. This attitude very much pushed the Dinobots into fridges with the Autobot society, which has resulted in an extremely powerful sense of friendship among the team. Few Autobots are closer. As many battered, bruised, and beaten the Decepticons can attest, if you confront one Dinobot, you confront them all. Grimlock, a robotic Tyrannosaurus. Grimlock is the leader of the Dinobots with a rather badass attitude, one of the most powerful warriors alive. His general approach to a problem is to smash it first, worry about the specifics later. This attitude extends to his Autobot companions, who are expected to meet Grimlock's standard of strength. That said, the Autobots have less to fear from the behemoth giant than the Decepticons do. Slug, a robotic Triceratops. Slug doesn't like you and he doesn't like your face. Don't bother trying to give him orders unless it involves headbutting an opponent into next week. And don't bother trying to make peace with him because he wants to fight and he's going to start with a fast fight that will end with the Decepticon's face. Scorn, a robotic Spinosaurus. Scorn is what happens when you combine a destructive war machine with a predator. Nothing else is much of a destroyer with two legs. He's strong and massive. Not only capable of using his Spinosaurus alternate mode in combat, Scorn is also a demolition specialist and wields the power of ancient Scrapmaker sword in bot mode. His massive size makes him almost impossible to bring down. Strafe, the two-headed pterodon. You'd be forgiven upon seeing Strafe appear in the battlefield. You had some sort of embarrassment altercation of waste. After all, the sight of a gigantic two-headed fire-breathing metal dragon-like dinosaur swooping down in the length of lightning speed like some kind of movie monster would shake the toughest fighters. However, Strafe is interesting compared to his Dinobot allies. While powerful and merciless warrior on the field, off, Strafe is one of the most friendly, approachable individuals you are ever likely to meet. Slash, a robotic velociraptor. Slash is surprisingly sneaky for a Dinobot, skilled in the arts of stealth and tracking. He can cut down his target without getting detected or hunt down the next victim with ease. Equipped with cyber senses in robot mode and claws as a velociraptor, Slash can fight his way out of a bad situation if things happen to go south. Slog. Slog is not intelligent, in fact extremely intelligent. Even Grimlock can outsmart him. But it actually proves strategic, as all of his brain cells have been traded to pure robot muscle. He can take out any opponent, provided that many of the other Dinobots cannot point out the right way. He is a warrior of Cybertron in ancient pants who transform into a robotic dinosaur. Snarl. Snarl hates everybody. He hates the Dinobots, he hates the Autobots, and he hates the Decepticons. He even hates you. The only time he smiles is when he stares at you. When you are dead, or when he's about to murder you, that's the only time you'll see him smile. He transforms into a robotic Stegosaurus. So I hope you guys enjoyed the TF education of the Dinobots of the live action universe. Now, let's focus on what the Dinobots are. We know from Optimus Prime, they were referred to by him as the Legendary Warriors. Now, what are the Legendary Warriors? What are the Dinobots in the live action universe? Because they were never really addressed. I got a couple of speculations, and hopefully this can answer some of the questions for you. Now, I believe that the Dinobots were the Legendary Warriors of the Guardian Knights of Cybertron. Now, hear me out. This is where I'm getting at. Is To understand the Dinobots, you have to go back to where they were first discovered, and that was the Knights Temenos. They were Lockdown's treasures, and the Temenos, this was said to be before Lockdown took possession of the Knight ship. This was at one point Optimus Prime's ship, and he would travel along with his fellow Knights and Warriors in the ship and explore the galaxies. The Knights Temenos had all the treasures of Cybertron, all the artifacts, weapons, including warriors. This was a sanctum of sanctuary of worship. I believe the Legendary Warriors, the Dinobots, and the Guardian Knights, including Optimus Prime, would use this sanctuary to worship, to practice their military force, and also to explore galaxies. In a way, I almost feel that the Dinobots were responsible for guarding these treasures originally. Now, the main question is, how did Optimus Prime know the Knights? How did Optimus Prime recognize Grimlock? How did he recognize the Dinobots? I believe that Optimus Prime could actually be the Prime of the Knights, the chosen one to lead the Legendary Warriors, to lead the Guardian Knights, the true leader, the true Prime, the 13th Prime, that is his goal. He is actually the Prime of the Knights and the Legendary Warriors. I believe as well that at one point, the Dinobots were actually the first ones created in the live-action universe. Now hear me out. Now, if you guys recall on the app that was showed to us before the movie came out, it kind of went through the whole lore of Transformers and where they were going. Now, after the 13 in the battle with Unicron, the Well of Sparks created the first Transformers, which happened to be Beast in this era. I believe the Dinobots were the beasts that were created first of the Wells of Spark when Primus became Doormat and became Cybertron himself. This was a time during Beast era that the dinosaurs, just like Earth in a way, were the first ones on Cybertron. And they were, at this time, it was chaotic, and if you could recall, the beast-like form of a dinosaur, right? Again, before humans, there was dinosaurs just like Cybertron. Now, after the Dinobots were created, Cybertron was chaotic. I mean, think about a time of dinosaurs ruling the Earth on Cybertron. There was probably so much going on, there was no order, there was no dominance, there was no leadership. Then after, the Guardian Knights were created, the Knights of Cybertron, and they were there to establish order. I believe that the Guardian Knights and the Legendary Warriors, the Dinobots, are connected. In a way, think of it as this way. If you recall, the Dinobots could not speak. They were considered not to be very intelligent. But the Guardian Knights did talk, did have conversation, and did have intelligence. So in a way, the Dinobots were the first ones of Cybertron. And that's why the Knights were created to, in a way, create order, develop that character trait, develop that wisdom, develop that knowledge for him to lead Cybertron to a path of a new hope. I've also been speculated of how did Optimus Prime and Gridlock know each other. If you recall, when Optimus Prime was being dragged in by Lockdown and he made that connection with Grimlock, you could see it in their eyes that they both recognized each other. There was some sort of history. You could see that this was not the first meeting and first encounter that these two have met before. I've always wondered, and I originally went into this movie thinking that this was going to be an origin movie of Megatron and Optimus Prime. Now, why I say Megatron first is that if you recall in Transformers The Last Knight, he had that beast mode. He looked very barbarianish, very similar to the Dinobots and the Guardian Knights that became Dragonstorm. He had that beast tusk. He looked very beastly. I've always wondered, and this is something I really hope that they would have addressed in Transformers Last Knight. I really hope this is where the movie was going, that at one point, Optimus Prime was created by Quintessa. This was her perfect creation, and he was, in a way, created as Nemesis Prime originally. Now, I believe that if they were going to rethink the past, rethink your heroes, rethink the history of Transformers, that what if Megatron at this time of a Beast era was actually the one that led the Dinobots, led the Guardian Knights, and Optimus Prime was actually Quintessa's perfect creation, and actually maybe Optimus Prime actually hunted the Dinobots in this ship. And Megatron was actually the leader of the Dinobots of Beast era. Optimus was chosen to be the next Prime, and Megatron wasn't, and that could have been the start of, in a way, of a new era of Transformers. And that's what started the rise of Megatron in his hatred for the Autobots and all that evil, is that he was thinking that he was going to be chosen to be the next Prime, being that he was leader of the Dinobots. And Optimus Prime might have been hunting them the entire time up until he got the Matrix of Leadership and became Optimus Prime. It could also be, too, that when we were in Transformers 2007, the very first Transformers movie, Optimus Prime's memory was wiped out. Maybe at this time, just like the Matrix, when you become a Prime, you're reborn, that his memory was scratched out and deleted. He could have left the Dinobots in charge, be responsible for protecting the treasures of Cybertron. That the Dinobots themselves, being legendary warriors, aggressive, powerful, and ancient, that they would be able to hold the secrets of the Transformers as well as all the treasures of Cybertron. And they were taken responsible to possess these ancient artifacts until Optimus Prime were to find them like he did in Age of Extinction, and he would be able to regain his memory and take his old Knight form. And this would also make a lot of sense because with Optimus being reborn as a Prime, he wouldn't be able to remember all the secrets and all the treasures in his own dark history, including the Dinobots, that his memory was completely wiped out. That way the secrets would be safe with the Dinobots who can't speak, and with Optimus Prime whose memory was completely wiped out when he became a Prime. I personally think the Dinobots' purpose, they were connected to the Guardian Knights. They were, in a way, kind of similar to what they were to G1. They were their enforcers, their special operations. They were legendary warriors. They're built to destroy and conquer, but would require the ultimate leadership of Optimus Prime to make them come as one and become Dinobots and become part of the Autobots, actually have a name. I believe that they were originally created as Beast and were created first off of the Wells of Sparks. That's what I really think happened. Then the Guardian Knights came in right after and established order Cybertron. Then the Quintesson invasion happened, and then that's where we get all the Transformers lore right after. That's what I personally think that was not answered with the Transformers The Last Knight. And it's pretty sad too, because when Transformers Age of Extinction came out, I was extremely hyped to see the Dinobots. They were completely underused, and that's why the Dinobots did seek redemption. So I hope you guys enjoyed Dinobot Redemption. I want to give a shout out to Joseph Roman. He hit me up in Twitter and requested a Dinobot Redemption episode. Joseph, I hope you enjoyed your episode. I also want to give another shout out to Optimus Prime. He's the one who actually encouraged me to get back on the Redemption series. Guys, I apologize how my channel's kind of been dead lately. That Blitzwing thing kind of took a toll on me. I wanted to take a break and get my mind right, kind of refocus. And I appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing me on Instagram, Twitter, and my channel, hitting me up and pushing me to get back on and providing you guys with Transformers content. If you guys out there have an idea of a Transformer, an artifact, a plot, a character, whatever, that needs redemption, feel free to comment and leave it to me. You might get a shout out and your video advertised on this channel. To my subscribers, I love you so much. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on all notifications. That way you can stay updated with all my Transformers speculation, spoilers, news, and all that good stuff. To my subscribers, again, I love you so much. This is LPS here to bring you another episode of the Redemption series. Peace.